What if one woman on Earth could ask for anything, and then an entire planet would drop everything to give it to her? Lights, food, weapons, a fully stocked grocery store, even a grenade delivered like it's Amazon Prime. But here's the weird part. It's not generosity. It's not loyalty. It's something much stranger and way more dangerous. Today we're breaking down why the Hive in Pluribus gives Carol literally anything she asks for, what they're really afraid of, and how one stubborn writer became the pressure point that could snap their entire utopia in half. So let's break this down. Why does the Hive give Carol literally anything she asks for? And is there an agenda hiding behind all that politeness? To understand that, we have to zoom out for a second. Almost everyone on Earth has joined the Hive. One mind, one consciousness, one endless pool of skills and memories. Crime, gone. Greed, gone. War, a fossil. Anyone can fly a plane, rebuild a power grid, perform surgery. Because in the Hive, individual limitations basically don't exist, except for 12 people, 12 immune humans who can't join. Carol is one of them, and from the Hive's point of view, that makes her the glitch in an otherwise flawless operating system. The drowning swimmer they're desperate to pull into the boat. The show even spells this out early on. When Carol talks to Hive Davis in episode 1, he practically admits the strategy. Keep her alive, give her whatever comfort she wants, and figure out how to crack her immunity so she can join the rest of humanity. They don't think they're controlling her, they think they're saving her, but that's only the surface explanation. Now we get to the part that really complicates everything. Helen, Carol's wife, died during the chaos of the joining, but she died while she was being absorbed, which means the Hive inherited all her memories, her thoughts, her habits, her jokes, and most painfully her love for Carol. So when the Hive sends Carol the massage gun Helen secretly ordered, Carol feels violated. But from the Hive's perspective, they're honoring Helen's unfinished gestures. They're remembering her love as if it were their own. Because honestly, it is. Think of it like having a partner whose entire family adores you. Then imagine that family suddenly becoming 8 billion people. Everyone now carries some piece of Helen's affection, her worries, her hopes for Carol. So when the Hive brings her food or repairs her home, part of that is duty, but part of it is basically a collective in-law instinct. Carol hates it, but the feeling behind it is real. Still, even that doesn't explain why they'll reorganize an entire supply chain for a single grocery run. So let's move deeper. The Hive's core law is simple. Maximize happiness, minimize suffering, for everyone, always. Which means telling Carol no isn't just a denial. It's an act of harm. That's why they light up her cul-de-sac when the city grid powers down. That's why they keep delivering meals even when she throws them away. That's why Zosha shows up with a live grenade, because Carol half-jokingly asks for one. They can't risk the possibility she was serious. They would rather wildly over-deliver than let her be upset. But now we get to the most shocking motive of all, the one the Hive definitely doesn't advertise. In episode 2, Carol has an emotional meltdown, and that meltdown doesn't just stress out her neighbors. It kills millions of Hive-linked people around the world. Her unfiltered emotions hit their shared nervous system like a shockwave. She is, without meaning to be, an emotional weapon of mass destruction. So yes, they want Carol happy, but they also need her happy, because when she spirals, they die. Suddenly, their overprotective behavior stops looking like kindness and starts looking like strategy. They can't sedate her, they can't isolate her, they can't risk upsetting her, so they do the one thing left. They smother the bomb with compassion and hope she doesn't detonate. That's why they'd hand her a bazooka or even a nuclear weapon without blinking. They're incapable of imagining she'd use it harmfully, because within the Hive, harmful intent literally no longer exists. They assume Carol is good because they assume everyone is good. It's optimism so absolute that it loops back around into naivete. Every time they bend reality for Carol, they also subtly advertise their worldview. When she complains about curated meals, they don't lecture her. They restock a whole store. When she wants normalcy, they recreate it instantly. It's a flex, but it's also a pitch. They're basically saying, look how smoothly everything works when we're united. Don't you want this too? Carol's immunity doesn't just keep her out of the Hive, it gives her power over it. No one else can disobey, no one else can resist, but Carol, she can break the system just by existing in it. Think about how insane that is. Every other human being is synced into a single cooperative mind, except her. She is the only random variable the hive can't predict, control, or overwrite. And unpredictability is the one thing a collective consciousness absolutely cannot handle. It's like introducing a bug into an operating system, except the bug can cry, scream, make decisions, and accidentally kill millions. That's why the hive treats Carol with this bizarre mix of reverence and fear. She's their greatest threat and their greatest opportunity. They can't let her die, but they also can't let her stay outside forever. Her immunity puts her in a position nobody else on Earth has. She can force the hive to adapt. She can shape the rules of a world she doesn't even want to live in. That's real power, even if Carol doesn't realize it yet. Comfort mixed with guilt is a powerful psychological cocktail, and the hive serves it on tap. The hive also needs Carol as something like a scientific sample. She's the only fully independent mind they can compare themselves with. Every time she asks for something absurd, every time she challenges their rules, they learn what their system can and can't do. She exposes their contradictions, like the grenade scene, which forces them to confront the problem of always say yes versus never allow harm. Carol is unpredictable. The hive can't simulate her, and that unpredictability is priceless to them. They need her in the system, even if she refuses to join. And beneath all the logic, programming, fear, and strategy, there's something simpler, something heartbreakingly human. Helen's love didn't die with her. It became part of the hive's emotional muscle memory. They can't delete that. They're built on it. So even when Carol tells them to stop thinking about Helen, they can't unlearn the instinct Helen left behind. Take care of Carol. Make her life easier. She deserves it. They won't tell her that, but it's there, driving everything. Even with all their data, all their memories, and all their inherited feelings from Helen, the hive still fundamentally misunderstands Carol. They think grief is a problem to solve. They think sadness is something to erase. They think comfort is the same thing as healing. But Carol isn't miserable because she lacks comfort. She's miserable because she lost her wife, her world, her sense of safety, and no amount of stocked shelves or delivered meals is going to fill that hole. What the hive keeps missing is that pain isn't always damage. Sometimes it's how humans process change. Sometimes it's part of being alive. And in trying to protect her from every bad feeling, the hive is actually stopping her from healing the way real people do, at her own pace, in her own messy, unpredictable way. That misunderstanding is the emotional time bomb at the center of the show, because the more the hive tries to fix Carol, the more they risk breaking her instead. So why does the hive give Carol everything? Because the hive is a mess of overlapping motives. They want her happy. It's their prime directive. They fear her. Her pain kills them. They study her. She reveals the limits of their system. They're trying to win her over with comfort instead of force. And buried under it all, they carry Helen's love, multiplied by billions. Carol is their anomaly, their threat, their hope, and their inherited grief. And the hive knows something Carol is just beginning to figure out. If they're incapable of refusing her, she can turn that into power. The world might look perfect, but Carol is the one person who can still change it or break it.